G'day guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Jono. Today we're going to jump into some interesting new V60 techniques that I've been trying. That's right guys, today we're going to look at some really interesting V60 techniques that I've been trying out lately. Before we get into it, if you haven't already, I have my own V60 recipe video up here. Well worth a watch. There's very specific reasons why that recipe is the way it is, and it's all explained in that video. So the first thing I want to talk about today is extending the bloom. This is going to be episode 1 of probably a 4 or 5 part series where we're going to take one aspect of my V60 recipe and change it to see what kind of results we can get. Enjoy. Taking my standard recipe, which is a 1:16 ratio, starting about 18 grams of coffee, what we're going to do is take the standard bloom from 50 grams up to 80 grams, still using the same amount of coffee. I'll do 2 side by side, and then we'll give them a taste test, and I'll test them in the refractometer, just to see if there's any difference in strength overall. Here we have our 2 V60s. We've got our control coffee here, which is my standard recipe, 50 gram bloom in 30 seconds. And we've got our test, which is the 80 gram bloom in the same amount of time. Now I have tested it on the refractometer, really just to make sure that I didn't get any major brewing issues whilst making the 2 V60s. So the strength is the same because we've started with the same dose and we've got the same yield. So let's jump right in and taste. Now our control coffee, this is an Ethiopian that I do know very well. So all the clarity is there, the sweetness, the tannins from the jasmine tea kind of flavors. That's all there, all present, all balanced, as it should be. And if we go to our test, our 80 gram bloom, first got the clarity and the sweetness. Now comes the interesting part, as there's another level of richness. There's definitely a more concentrated deep note to the coffee. By amping up that bloom, what we've been able to do is concentrate the sugars in the coffee a lot more to add that layer underneath, that extra richness underneath. Now there's still plenty of things that are in my control recipe that are in this coffee, and that's the clarity and that's the sweetness. But what we've been able to do is really add another layer underneath. This is a really interesting experiment that I highly recommend you try at home. One caveat though, the more you extend your bloom either in weight or in time, the more potential you have to introduce really meaty and brothy flavors into your V60. And what those sort of flavors do is just muddy up your entire brew, basically taking out the clarity and dulling the sweetness. So think about that before you go and just double your bloom size. So it's good to be a little bit conservative when changing these variables. Thanks heaps for watching guys. This has been a super fun experiment. So have a great day and I'll see you on the next video.